You're going to your kitchen to take something important, but the minute you enter the kitchen, you forget why you came here. Has this ever happened with you? In psychology, they call it the doorway effect. This was discovered in 2011 by a Notre Dame University psychologist called Gabriel Radvansky. And what he told that we forget around 30 to 40% of information when we pass through a doorway physically, versus if you stayed in the previous room. Now, this is very interesting. So how can you use that in speaking? I'm glad you asked. You can deliberately create the doorways during your speaking session. How will you do that? There are multiple ways, and I'll tell you 3 ways you can do that. One is you can create physical doorways, which will be you move space on the stage and you say, okay, this was the problem. And then you move and then you say, okay, now let's talk about the solution. So you have created a virtual doorway in their brains, and they're kind of forgetting what the problem was and then starting to think fresh to find out what the solution could be. Number 2, you could create some sort of conceptual doorways, which is like you say, okay, now theory is done. Let's talk about the practical implication of this, whatever the thing is. So by saying that, you created a separation from the theory and the practical. And the third example, you could use a temporal doorway you can create. Something like 2024 was such a year. We saw so many different things, but 25 is a different beast. Actually, I should be saying 26 because we're literally at the end of 25. By saying that, you kind of creating a partition in the timeline and making people to forget about the previous one and think about the new. Most speakers try to create some sort of flow, but here what you're doing is you're strategically creating boundaries that control how your memory is formed in the minds of your audience members. Give it a go in your next presentation. It's going to be amazing. And if you want to hear more such psychological tips and tricks that you can use in your speaking, do not forget to subscribe, follow whatever platform you're watching me on. See you soon.